So first thing is the that cut block rule, right? So the one of the things that we've been noticing with Kyle Shanahan's offense is that the divide or the gap between the outside zone scheme, right, or that zone scheme that he had,
Yeah.
which is where the linemen block in space, to
Yeah.
where it's now that bar is kind of sliding to the more of like a power scheme.
Yeah.
That we're kind of noticing, where it's now more of like a hat on a hat, and it makes sense with the players that he's drafting. When we think of power schemes, we think of like the Jim Harbaugh 49ers, but we would actually be more closer to the Eddie Lacy backfield of the Green Bay Packers, where they kind of had a different kind of position group. And if you look at some of the players that we drafted, right? So Tyrion Davis-Price, Jordan Mason, they move very similar. And the other thing I really like about Jordan Mason is I wonder if he's got an actual shot of kind of being higher on the depth chart, a la the same way that Mitchell did with Sermon last year. He's not going to wow you with his highlight tape, but he's a great passer and a great blocker. But that was kind of number one. The other thing I want to talk about is I do believe that this offense is going to come out really, really slow this season. And I think it's fair to be expected. I mean, if you were Trey Lance, imagine the fact that you don't have your center. And your center, can help you with calling out blitzes, right? Take some of that load and responsibility. The other thing, too, is that the offense last season started off kind of slow and kind of shaky, and there was a lot of problems at offensive line. Well, we just lost 2 Pro Bowl offensive linemen in Laken Tomlinson, and then our center right now, right, with I didn't know his first name was Javon either. Like there's the other Javon Alex Mack, right? So if he retires,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if he retires, now all of a sudden we're just expecting a first year starting quarterback with a first year starting guard, I don't know who we're going to have at center, and then a first year possibly. I mean, with the way that they're going, right guard. I mean, anything's possible. So and we were already nervous last season with the interior of our defensive line, our offensive line. We just lost 2 Pro Bowl guys. So that looking at that was some of the things that I was kind of looking at, and then. Another thing too is I wonder if Kyle Shanahan's going to kind of go back to some of the things that he was kind of popular for or famous for, right? When we're kind of looking at that, one of the things that he
like when you were talking about with, can we go back to the beginning when you were saying that they're going more to a power running scheme? Are you saying that like in the 90s, the way they ran the outside zone was with the cut blocks on the backside, which were really effective, and you can't do that anymore, right?
Right. Because now that it's a very, very small box, we're talking about just a couple yards that happens within. What the cut block really did for a lot of Shanahan offenses, which I mean, it wasn't just everyone thinks of it as just like it's the Shanahans who really came up with it. But if there's 2 things that the 49ers should be synonymous with, right, as far as kind of bringing into the fold, it's the West Coast offense and the cut block. And Bob McKittrick, who was the offensive line coach for the 49ers from 1979 to 1999, really kind of instilled that. Mike Shanahan, who was with the 49ers the last time that we ran the Super Bowl, he adopted that technique and brought that with him over to the Denver Broncos. Well, guess who else was on that team, right? We're looking at Mike McCarthy. Now, Mike McCarthy, what he did was he really did a really kind of a good job of kind of using that. I want to say like that one back power, because what you would have is Aaron Rodgers. He would kind of have his 3 wide receiver sets and then like a tight end. Now, what's interesting was that their 2 tackles at the time, right? Bakhtiari and I want to say Barclay were some of the smallest tackle tandems in the league. And really what you want for a power scheme is to have dominating tackles. They had a lot of success running it that year. I want to say in like 2013, I think is when Eddie Lacy got drafted. And they went to that because McCarthy was an outside or a zone scheme running game, and then that year and that's why I think you're going to have the most similarities between what that Packers team did offensively with what the 49ers team did offensively. And the reason why I differentiate that and I didn't go for the 49ers is because I think it's easier to find, number one, the Eddie Lacy's of the world versus the Frank Gores. Also, too, Jim Harbaugh really liked to go with his tank-heavy sets that kind of matched what the players he was given by Bulky, which is slide in another offensive lineman. And you'd see those just like those massive units. And that's what I was kind of looking at when I was looking at Kyle Shanahan. If you're looking at the tight ends that he's getting, and he's getting all these blocking tight ends, because you're right, the cut block, you used to be able to go out there and just throw your body right to kind of block, and really, even if you didn't hit the guy, because those big offensive linemen had a hard time covering those smaller defensive linemen, you get to clear a path and kind of change the angle of that defender. They're not able to do that anymore. So I think now we're going to have something that's more similar to that. And I wonder if Gray is going to be kind of our new Taylor Gabriel, and if Shanahan's going to go back to something that he was kind of known for before he came to the 49ers, which was the I want to say it's the 1-3 personnel, or 13 personnel with the 3 tight ends. But I know I just rambled. I'm not good at this whole thing. I don't know how you do that.
That was great, man. Thanks for calling. That was terrific.
Thank you.